Right. Back to a couple of weeks ago, I did it was more of a case of Blade versus Game Improvement Club, and it was a bit of an interesting one. I got a couple of people tapping on the comments saying about forgiveness and stuff like that, and how do you test for it, etc. Which is a good point. How do you test for forgiveness? It's a very, very hard thing, which yeah, a lot of people have tried, but yeah, it's difficult to do. I will continue, guys, to try and get this chat working the best I can. But if it can't work, it can't work. It's still saying a video unavailable at the moment, but just means I've got a bit of a blank screen on that side. Sorry. Anyway, right, okay. I have in my hand, because I'm going to try and tackle this one as best I can, I have hit a bunch of shots. Now, I'm waiting for potentially, if Dave is on, Google is my friend. He popped down to see me on Wednesday, and we had a good little session on there. And this whole video is because I asked him what would he like to see, and one of the things that he said was forgiveness. So right now we've got the G700 ping iron. So what I'll do is I will show you what I mean by that. It is the, oh, there we go. If I get this one right, hopefully this will transition right. Oh, there we go. Ping G700 iron. So proper game improvement iron, as game improvement irons go. Oh well, something's popped up now. There we go. That might be good if we can get that working. It's just the chat's decided it wants to just like spruce itself back to life again. And then I'm going to put the G700 up against, because it is a very, very, very helpful iron. Big as well. Up against the classic. There you go. Callaway Apex MB. Bladey, as you can see up on the screen. Now, two completely different clubs. Absolutely two completely different clubs. Got them in the same shaft. So for the shaftoids out there, same shaft, although non-shaft sensitive. Yeah, know that one already. The only difference is they're both 7 irons, but they're obviously massively different lofts. So we have to, yeah, understand that there is a deficiency when it comes to such a thing. So anyway, what I did, cool, evening pal, Yorkie Bar 962, love it. Right, so what I've done, I have hit an absolutely silly amount of shots with both this club, the G700 7 iron, 30 degrees, 29.5, something like that, against the 7 iron of the Apex MB, 34 degrees. So 4.5 degrees of loft difference. Both 7 irons. And I have captured just a crazy amount of data, just hit after hit after hit. And I wasn't. Normally, when I'm practicing, I will practice on strike. Strike. But today, I was just swinging. I was trying to get sort of paths and face to path sort of fairly close. But the problem is when you're not concentrating on strike too much, you kind of get a little bit wavery. But, so, that massive long data set, what I've done is I've captured a load of information. I'm not going to stick it up on the screen because you guys will melt, because it is just intensive. One of the good things with Foresight's software, on the FSX, you've got the normal how it just sort of lists data. But what you have got on there is called standard deviation. And the good thing with standard deviation is that it allows you to gain a grasp of necessarily how a club is performing through its ups and downs. Yeah, so you've obviously got your averages, which is fair enough, but then you've got how much up and down, yeah, standard deviation. So if you were to look at a certain thing, a bunch of shots, loads of shots, and then select all the heels, all the toes, and out of those ones, look at all the standard deviation from those, and then see what the standard deviation of carry is. So left and right, guys, is me, you, everybody else. It is what you do with this face. Striking has a minimal effect on it. It will have a little bit of effect if obviously extreme toes. The problem that I've got when I've started doing this is I worked out very, very quickly that I, as a person who's trying to get usable information, I cannot hit the places where I need to hit it really to go crazy with it. Now, so I have to be mindful of that, and I'm hitting slightly off the toe, slightly off the heel, but the same for both. That's the whole idea. If you go crazy off the toe and crazy off the heel, well, obviously the G700 will have an advantage over the MB, because the MB's tiny blade length is like that, where this thing's massive, so you can get away with a bit more. Anyway, so hopefully you can see the chat going. So if you want to pop anything in there as I'm talking about this, I will answer your questions as we go, hopefully, as long as everything goes right. So okay, this is going to be a little bit interesting. So I've captured lots of information, and rather than giving you streams of data, I've put it in format. So let's go for it, shall we? Okay, right, let's go this way first of all. Let's transition to the numbers screen over here. Lots and lots of information up here that I can now stick. Okay, let's get rid of this G700. I'm hugging the G700 for some reason. Okay, right, the numbers. What I've done is I've got the club and head data in one go. Now all this information here, well, chair's in the way, bear with. Look at that, yeah, so up the top, that's ball speed. All up top there, that's all ball speed stuff. Down the side here, this is all club stuff, yeah. So bear in mind the slower one, right at the very top, the 117.6, that is with the blade. You can tell straight away because the shaft lengths are 1/4 of an inch in it, so the G700 is slightly longer. So it should get a slightly faster club head speed, like for like. And when it comes to ball speed, because there's a loft difference, you will see the difference in data, that there is a massive jump, obviously, in ball speed and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's not hard to distinguish the difference. So, right at the very top, these are heel strikes, all out the heel. So if you go on this column up and down here, you can see right at the very end, you've got heel for the G700, which is this one here, 7mm heel, 2mm low, and one up the top there, which is the Apex MB, I've got 6mm heel, 1mm high. So you're looking at within 3mm and 1mm of exactly the same strike data. This is the hardest bit. So I mean, so many hits to try and get. Yeah, I'm going to go to a different screen so you guys can probably understand more what's going on here. But the biggest thing when it comes to the other screen, when it comes to what happens to the ball, is the standard deviation up the top here. Yeah, so up the top here, very top, is the Callaway Apex MB, and then just underneath that one, right there, that is the G700. So G700 goes a bit faster. All heel strikes, remember. But the interesting thing, if you go over to the peak height and also the carry right at the very end, you look at standard deviation, which is the more of a bolder one. Even though this is a massively game improvement iron, the G700, you would have thought, bearing in mind, left and right is mainly you. When it comes to short and back, that is where forgiveness comes in. That is where the dispersion ring, you're looking at dispersion ring, hopefully, especially can do, goes like that. When you're looking at on launch one, it's not like that, because obviously that's front to back, up and down, left and right. But look, the Apex MB, this one over here, Bladey, has got a standard deviation of only moving 3 yards off of the heel strikes. And then when you're looking at the chunky G700, the carry deviation goes up to 5. So in essence, I'm getting better distance control out of the MB when I'm hitting it 6mm heel, 1mm high against 7mm heel, 2mm low. I mean, we're talking margins in it. But that's interesting. This captures so much information, and you just stick it all together. Just take all the toes out, capture the information for heel, then take all the crosses out, and put all the for toe. And we'll get to the toe afterwards. Actually, we'll do toe now because we've gone through that. So that's very interesting. If you're that way inclined. Right, toes time. Right, now this might be interesting. So again, right at the very top, you've got Callaway Apex MB, slower ball speed because obviously loft, etc. No different to down here. If I scoot my chair out of the way, these are other way around. I've flicked them around. Slower club head speed, G700, longer shaft, a little bit quicker. Anyway, you can see that. So on the strikes, you can see there 9mm toe, 1mm high, 7mm toe, 2mm high. So you're looking at 2mm, 2mm difference. Now, look at the different. I can't get my words out today. Look at the difference in standard deviation again. Carry right at the very top, the very top one, with 166, standard deviation of 3. Go the carry for the next one down, that one up there. 181, longer, lower loft. Yeah, we understand that. But carry distance deviation of 5. Again, off toe shots, this is more accurate. What's going on? Now, off extreme toes, I was finding that the data becomes so noisy, you could not get any usable information from extreme toes. Now, bear in mind, this is a blade. You've got no room to get extreme heel because you are going to shank this kid. Yeah. When it comes to the toe here, you haven't got much room whatsoever. 15mm, 16mm maximum heel, you start interacting with the heel. Shank. Where on this one, because it's bigger, you have got more room. So if you're someone who does move around by more than 15mm or 3/4 of an inch nearly, then yes, you will find benefit going like this because there's more face to hit. Yeah. But under normal circumstances, when you're hitting in and around where we want to be, but not quite where we should do, etc. like that. So if you're looking at like proper beginner, yeah, you're going to get, yeah, okay, I would go for something as big as you possibly can initially. Let's go to the funky bits. You might like this one. Graphics time. So obviously the blue, the light blue is the blade. The red is the game improvement iron because it goes longer, lower loft, etc. Yes, but look at the dispersion rings. Arguably they're equal front and back, and then me left and right against looking at again the standard deviation for everything. That is my delivery. So not just putting ball data down. If you guys want to go and have a look at that when it comes to like bearing down exactly what my delivery was and what my delivery differences was, you can see right at the very top corner up there, there's my strike difference, which is tiny, absolutely tiny. Let's go check on here. I might be able to get your chat on here, might be a bit better. We'll carry on. But yeah, look at the difference again. That is a visual representation of how a game improvement club is actually not being more forgiving in that sense. Flick over to the same things when it comes to the toe. So fade that one in there and it's exactly the same. This is the scary thing of this. Now, why is that? I don't know. Now, I've done this test myself. Would I get any benefit at all? This is an interesting one. Would I get any benefit at all from doing this? Google's your friend, Even J. Hi, Dave. With a amateur, would I? Would I get any benefit whatsoever? I don't know. I probably would, wouldn't I? I'm not quite sure. Again, when you're hitting something that far off the middle, as a 3/4 of an inch off the heel, yes, a game improvement club such as the G700 is gonna help because the blade length is bigger. You've got more room before you interact with the interesting area. Where on a blade you haven't, because it's a squat of blade length. You've got a tiny little amount of space before you're going to hit the shank, and then it's going to be very interesting. So you need to know what your strike patterns are. If you're someone who deviates from the middle, yes, everyone does. But you don't deviate that badly, so you've got like a cluster grouping, whether it be on the toe, whether it be on the heel, doesn't matter. There is a very distinct chance that actually, trying to measure forgiveness, is there any forgiveness difference in there? When it comes to the heights, the peak heights, so I mean, you'll be able to see this screen here. I've got another screen which I can see, a studio screen. And if I go look on the numbers one again, and I go delete that one a little bit and let's go get the heights. The G700 was going actually 1 yard less in height than the blade. Interesting. Descent angles were better on the blade and the deviation was smaller. That was from the toe shots. So if I'll tell you what, I'll show you what I'm looking at. I'm looking at there. So you can see that the heights, etc. The lower one, as in the one that's just that one here. Your pod. Do you think if you want more accurate gapping, you are better with higher lofted one, less with higher lofted one, less unknown rolled out? Right. Yeah. Okay. Carry is king. Strike is king. Carry is king. Whatever happens throughout the whole entire year, yes, strikes will change. I'm sorry, carry will change slightly depending on the weather, how hot it is. But what thing does make a massive difference is when you hit the ground. If it's soft ground, hard ground, tall grass, not bare grass, bare lies or anything else, like what conditions you can hit into. Carry stays very, very similar. It's what happens when you hit the deck. Now, if you're going in through too shallow a descent angle, that's going to be interacting with the ground, doing lots and lots of bounces and rolls, which could be down to, well, yeah, the gods to work out how far that's going to go. The higher you can get descent angles, spin is basically not there to stop the golf ball. The spin is there, or consistency of spin is designed to control distance. That's what we need to understand. Anyway, so we'll flick over so you will just be nice and let's do like the heels. Whoa, oh, wrong one. See that one there. Bear with. There we go. So the peak height when it comes to on these are the heels, aren't they? Yes, they are. So when it actually comes to the heels, G700 top one, and then the MB higher than that. Actually, the MB didn't perform as good on the peak height as the G700. So the G700 performed slightly better from the heels, height-wise. But the interesting thing was the fact descent angles were still steeper, although it's marginal, with the blade. And deviation in carry is still better by like 40%, give or take, 3 to 5. My maths very, very quickly. That's what I'm saying. When it comes to understanding what's going to happen when these things hit the ground, is vitally important, so you understand how far your clubs go. Right, there we go. Cool. So, I mean, I try to. Mark, Mr. Crossfield, done a video today comparing the G700 and JPX 919 hot metal. I've got to be conscious of the time. And he lost. He didn't get what I was trying to say. Dan hit some shots, and he was basically commenting and comparing them. So I basically said there was a couple of mishits in there, blurring the data. So I said to them, they took them out, good. And then I just asked a couple of questions, just sort of like check this, check that, and all everything, just because to show to everybody just how similar those clubs are. But then Mark, I don't think he quite got what I was saying. Yeah, but we're all friends. So it's all sorted out now. But what I'm trying to get at is that club manufacturers nowadays can only do a certain amount. They've reached to a certain one. I don't know what their next breakthrough is going to be, but it's going to be an interesting one of how they're going to work it out. But my conclusion out of everything there, and I've hit a bunch of shots, loads of shots. I'm talking a crazy amount of shots today to try and answer this question. Front to back, forgiveness. Lefts and rights, you, me, the golfer. I can't test extreme toe strikes. I'm talking like, off this interesting bit here. Because, well, once you start hitting off here, the face the paths, etc., just go crazy. But I can test what goes around here. And that's what I've tried to do today, and try to keep the data as usable as possible. So my conclusion is that are game improvement clubs more forgiving? Not as far as I'm testing. I can't see that there's any difference whatsoever, personally. What that will make difference to a golfer that believes they do, then that alone might make the biggest difference of all. Them understanding in their own head that game improvement club, I'm going to hit this one better. And they might as well possibly do that. Obviously, won't know till test it. But yes, so that was my conclusion anyway. So hope you liked it. If you did, this has been, I know you may not, it's hard to do a video of this because it's so data driven, but I'm trying to answer the question, are game improvement clubs more forgiving? No. Yeah, I know, like the idea for me as a slow spinner would be better with higher loft and the 30° 7 iron haven't now, so I am going to try my uncle's old MX100 to see. Thanks for doing this, Jay. No worries. This whole video is dedicated to Google's your friend, Dave. So yeah, slow swinger. Yeah, slow swinger. Something cool. Right. I'm going to go and sign off. Then going to go back onto the questions and answers where you guys can just answer me anything whatsoever. It's going to be like the weekly after show. And then, yeah. So hope you liked it. Comment below. Click like. Share it. Do all the bits and pieces. Subscribe. When you do subscribe, there's a little bell down the bottom there. Ding, ding. Check that. Enables you to get a notification when I post something. Yorkie Bar 960. Thank you for the advice. No problem whatsoever. So everyone, I'm going to sign off now. Wait about 2 minutes. I'm going to do another one. Will be the Q&A. Then you can just go crazy and ask me whatever the hell you want. So hope you liked it, and we'll see you again next week, next Wednesday evening for something different. I've got a little bit of a fun idea for next week. So yeah, tune in next week to find out. See you later, guys. Take care.